In this demo, we will analyze the file structure of ViPR, demonstrate how to deploy a ViPR controller consisting of 3 instances in a single data services instance used for object on file. When we open the installation folder, notice there are multiple disks VMDK files together with the controller node installation OBF and data services installation OBF. We launch vCenter Server and connect, in this case, to our local host. When vCenter Server opens, notice we have 2 ESXi hosts. Let's look at which one is more appropriate for installing ViPR. ViPR requires a minimum of 8 CPUs, 16 GB of RAM, together with 1 TB of storage, which can be thin provisioned. The prod ESXi host has 4 CPUs and 8 GB of memory. This won't be enough for a ViPR deployment. The management ESXi host is a good candidate for installing ViPR since it has 16 CPUs and 80 GB of memory. We'll use thin provisioning for ViPR, so 1 TB is not required for demonstration. To deploy the OBF, click on File, Deploy OBF Template. When the Deploy OBF Template window opens, click on Browse to look for the installation OBF. The ViPR image is stored in our desktop. Select the node image and click Next to continue. In the next screen, we see the version of ViPR and storage requirements. Click Next to continue. You can review the license agreement, accept it, and once it's accepted, click Next to continue. In the next step, select the data center where ViPR will be installed. Then label that ViPR installation and click Next. In the disk format, ViPR will need 1 TB guaranteed for thick provisioning. In this case, it is a good idea to select thin provisioning and click Next. The last step requires IP addresses, subnet masks, and gateways for the 3 controller instances, as well as a virtual interface to access them through a single IP address. We now proceed to write all the control IP addresses, subnets, and gateways. Once this is complete, enter the DNS servers for your environment and also enter the NTP for time synchronization. It is recommended to leave the firewall on during the installation. Multiple object data instances can also be installed. If you plan on installing more than one, a customer-provided load balancer must be present. Since we will only be configuring a single data node, this field is not required. Once all your IP addresses are complete, click Next. You get the opportunity to verify all the configuration, make sure that it's accurate, and then select Power On after deployment and click Finish. The ViPR will be deployed from the files in the ViPR directory. At this point, we're going to fast forward through the deployment process. The installation has now completed successfully. If you look at the recent tasks pane, you can see how the instances are now booting up. We click Close to acknowledge the successful installation. Now let's explore the ViPR vApp that has been created. Notice within our ViPR vApp, we contain 3 instances which appear to have booted up. To verify we have connectivity, it's a good idea to ping each of those instances. As you can see, the 3 instances do have connectivity. The same is true when we ping that virtual interface. Since we have verified connectivity for ViPR, let's open a browser and point at the virtual interface IP address. Notice that we're using HTTPS for our connection. We can now see the ViPR login. This officially concludes our demonstration.